Welcome to the garden. Today I'm going to show you some of my favourite plants for this time of year, some reliable performers that are pretty fuss free, that will give you lots and lots of flowers for a long period of time without much looking after. So we're in July now here in the UK, and these are some of the things that I really like at this time of year. The first thing is this, Nepeta. Now you can get lots of different varieties of Nepeta. This one is Walker's Lawn. It stays nice and compact. It really only gets to about 60 to 80 centimetres. It flowers lots and lots, it gets really nice and bushy, and once it's finished its first flush of flowers, which is kind of coming to an end in the next couple of weeks, I would cut it back to a good couple of inches, and then it will send up lots of new nice green growth that will look lovely and healthy in the border till the first frosts. It might even send up some new flowers, but if it doesn't do that, then at least it kind of refreshes it, if you like, so it still looks really great in the border. It's brilliant for bees. The bees absolutely love it. Now the one downside to it is if you have cats, they particularly like this because it's cat mint. So they love rubbing themselves all over it. So if you do have cats and you want to grow it, a really easy thing to do is really early on in the year, in springtime, when you first see those new bits of foliage coming through, you take a wire hanging basket without a liner in it and you turn it upside down onto the plant to protect it, and then it will grow through hiding the wire basket and you'll never see it, but it just prevents any cats from having a good old roll around all over it and crushing it and destroying it, because we don't want that, because it is really beautiful. And apart from cats loving it, humans love it too, and it puts on such a great display for such a long period of time. So that is Nepeta Walker's Lawn. Now this is Geranium Rozanne, and it's a lovely plant. I've got lots of it in my garden because it's just so damn reliable. It will cover up to 1 metre square, so that's a big plant. It gives you lots of great ground cover, so where this grows, no weeds will come up once it's fully established and mature, so it's a really good plant for ground cover. It also has these amazing blue flowers, like little saucer, cup and saucer if you like. They're just so pretty. Now this is an AGM, which is an award of garden merit, meaning it's just an all-round wonderful easy plant. It likes free draining soil, it will cope in sun or partial shade, and you can just rely upon it to give you lots and lots of flowers at this time of year and cover a really good area of ground. So a nice easy one, that one, Geranium Rozanne. Now this one is Salvia Caradonna. It's a really good salvia. It's got these deep indigo spires to it, and it flowers for a really long time. It will get a little bit higher than this in the ground, so it gets about 90 centimetres once it's fully mature. It creates nice clumps and it looks good with if you plant more than one plant. So if you plant them in groups of 3s, then it makes a really nice kind of big bit of impact. And they flower for a long time as long as you deadhead them. So when you see a flower that's coming to the end, when it looks tired and it's gone over, then you need to take it back and just nip it off right at the base, so it will encourage these new ones to send out their flowers and get taller. As long as you deadhead it, it's a dead easy job, really simple to do. It will keep flowering and flowering and flowering and flowering. It likes a sunny spot and well-drained soil, so not clay, but if you give it the right conditions, it will flower its socks off all the way until the first frost in November. Now this is Rudbeckia Goldsturm, and it's pretty foolhardy. It will cope with anything you throw at it. It doesn't matter if it's sun, partial shade, it's not really fussy about what soil it's got, but it will reliably flower. And it's a bright yellow daisy, you can see on the label here. It's a couple of weeks off flowering yet. It gets about 1 metre in height and it creates these big whopping clumps, so it's brilliant mid-border to give you some late summer colour. The other lovely thing about it, as well as its bright shiny impact, is it gives, once the yellow petals have fallen off, it has like a little cone, like it looks like a little perfect button, and those seed heads will stay all winter, and they're really great for wildlife. They will come in and take the seeds from them. And they will also kind of house hoverflies and things like that, will take refuge in the stems over the winter time. So leaving the seed heads to stand all winter will give you some real structure that looks so pretty with frost and snow in it and things like that. So don't be in a rush to cut this one back. I cut mine back in the spring after it's given me a lovely kind of, ethereal skeletal display over the winter months covered in frost. But it's a lovely plant and you can't really go wrong with it. This one is Hemerocallis, or daylily, it's its common name, and it has these wonderful strappy leaves. It creates really nice big clumps which look brilliant at the front of borders and then reward you with these fabulous trumpets of flowers. You can get them in orange and yellow, Again, they will cope with semi-shade and they will cope with full sun. They're not too fussy about soil, reliably moist, but apart from that they will still probably get some flowers and they'll still look reasonably healthy if you were to not keep them reliably moist. So just an easy plant with these bright cheerful colours. You can get them in different heights, shorter ones and some that get nice and tall to maybe 1.2 metres, or at least the stems with the flowers on. But again, it's got these really nice strappy healthy foliage that creates nice clumps, so even when it's not in flower it's really nice and beneficial because it gives good form and structure to a bed. So it's one of my favourites, and I particularly like it with blue. So any orange with blue. So if we bring in the Nepeta again and we put that together with the orange, you can see that contrasting colour combination works really, really well. Particularly fond of that, but it's an excellent plant. Now this one is Crocosmia, and this variety is George Davison, and I like it because it's kind of like a pale orange when it comes out, and then the throat inside is a deeper orange. It's really very attractive. Again, it's got these great strappy leaves, so it has lovely form in the garden. There are not many plants that kind of grow in this fan shape, if you like, so it's really nice adding a bit of drama in a space by creating these big fans of foliage. And the flowers, when they come out, are gently arching and nodding, so it's very, very pretty. It will grow pretty much anywhere. It's really, really foolhardy. It's tough as old boots. It'll give you no problems whatsoever once it's in. It clumps out naturally. If it ever gets too big for the spot, it's easy to dig out or separate into more clumps and spread it around the garden, but it's super easy. These also, the foliage goes a nice colour in the autumn time. It goes like a russet brown colour, which is very attractive, and you get some nice movement in the garden from it. So yeah, it's an all-round valuable plant for any space, especially if you're a beginner gardener and you've not got lots of experience of plants. Then a Crocosmia is, yeah, pretty damn easy. You can get different colours, like I say, you can get some that are more yellow. You can get a Crocosmia called Crocosmia lucifer, which is scarlet red and much taller, so it looks brilliant at the back of the border because it gives you this fan shape. So if you can imagine a really large fan of about 1.2 metres at the back with these bright red flowers, adds real drama and impact. So yeah, Crocosmias are a great place to start if you've not got much experience with plants. They give you lots of bright colour. Last but by no means least is this grass, Stipa tenuissima, and it's a brilliant grass for those of you that want to create a nice naturalistic garden but don't have much plant knowledge in being able to do so. It's like sunshine, it will tolerate some partial shade, but it's pretty tough, and it will grow as well in a container as it will in the ground. So if you wanted to add it as a specimen in a container, it looks really good. But if you wanted to create that naturalistic style in your garden, then grasses are really the way to do that. By adding a grass, you can see it just softens the whole thing. And if you're not really good at placing plants in order to give you a naturalistic feel, then adding some grasses threaded throughout a border are kind of like what we call naturalistic glue. They just gel a whole planting scheme together, giving it that lovely soft movement that you would get in a meadow or out and about when walking, that Mother Nature seems to be able to miraculously achieve without much effort. But us gardeners, it takes a while to get that lovely wild loose feeling in our gardens, but grasses are the key to that, and this one is easy as pie. So Stipa tenuissima is my go-to for beginner gardeners that want to create a naturalistic feel, softening gardens, or just put something in a pot that will be really easy to look after, or more or less look after itself. So they are my top plants for midsummer. Now if you have any ideas for videos that you want to see, any knowledge that you need to be passed on, then please do get in touch with our media team and we will try and make that content because we want it to be as useful as possible. And for any more how-to videos, visit lovegardening.com. Bye!